guns. You want to know who funds breaking up the family? It's the big mega banks that push the anti-family, anti-male, anti-freedom agenda on every major channel they've got. Then they've got the nerve with all their snotty-nosed armies of trust fund kids running around in black outfits acting cool to say that they are fighting the establishment when the establishment is pushing what they themselves are exempt from. That is the bottom line. But the good news is conspiracy theories are causing militants to abandon ISIS. Radicals complain recruits are turning away as they discover Western intelligence controls the groups. That's right. The International Business Times reports on the official Al-Qaeda, now known as ISIS, magazine. They go on to say, if the Mujahideen liberated territory occupied by the infidels, they would say that the infidels allowed them to do so because the disbelievers' interest is necessarily a prolonged war, the article states. According to these theories and theorists, almost all the events of the world somehow link back to the infidels, their intelligence agencies, research, technology, and co-conspirators, the extremist RAG proclaims. Conspiracy theories have thereby become an excuse to abandon jihad. The piece entitled Conspiracy Theory, Sin. See, I'm a sinner, folks. InfoWars has long highlighted how Al-Qaeda and ISIS, who they put us in their videos, I mean, they're talking about us. See, I'm not bragging, folks. Why is everybody talking about us? Hundreds of newspapers a day attacking us. Governments attacking us. Media Matters attacking us. ISIS attacking us. Putting Joe Biggs in their videos, threatening him. Because we know the enemy blueprint. We have them. We have them targeted, but we're the targeting system. You are the weapon in the info war. You now have to expose them further and cause a mass awakening with your friends and family. We are on the verge of massive breakthroughs. And that's why the enemy is scrabbling and freaking out, because they want to take us to the road to hell. We want the road to freedom. InfoWars has long highlighted how Al-Qaeda and ISIS are, the very least, used by intelligence agencies in a grand game of geopolitical chess. It is indispensable that Al-Qaeda was seeded by the CIA, indisputable, and that Saudi intelligence in the late 70s and early 80s, and that right through today, Western intelligence is funding it. Clearly, the ISIS propaganda piece was published before it was revealed last week by Western intelligence that Osama bin Laden himself was an avid conspiracy theorist. According to newly declassified U.S. government documents, and it goes into bin Laden's reading list, if you even believe that. That was his body double. Well, the real point here, and Steve did a good job, but he can add this to this, is Colonel Shaver's been on. We've all documented it. The headline is 90% of Free Syrian Army is Wahhabist Al-Qaeda. That's who we've been funding. And then now they've just resupplied themselves going into Iraq, and they're to be given the western central area, the Kurds, the north, the Shiites, the southeast. That's it. And then if they get outside that area that they're being given, into the Kurd area or into the Syrian areas they're not being given, or into the Shiite areas they're not being given, they'll then be bombed and kept in place. It's kind of like doctors, they still do this for a really bad infection, will implant maggot eggs in your skin, then they remove the maggots once they've eaten the right amount. Come over and say, I want to kill babies, I love Satan, I love communism, death, death, death. Whether they're black, white, or Hispanic, they always love death. We're going to play some of these videos coming up and the audio. If you're a radio listener, Infowars.com/show. But I wanted to get Anthony Gucciardi, who was there, his take on it all, and also Jakari Jackson, who was leading the demonstration, until I came down and jumped in the middle of it, because the listeners were all, why isn't Alex there if it's in Austin? And stuff started getting hot. Folks didn't wait for orders from headquarters. Watching the live feed, our shipping department manager, a good friend of mine, Weldon Henson, went down there. And there's a good thing that he went down there and that Jakari was there, or I definitely was going to end up getting in a fight and defending myself with the Count Dracula guy, because I guess he thought he was a big guy, that I was scared of him. I came within 1 millisecond the second time he shoved me, and then he hit me. I went ahead and drew back. I was going to punch him right up under the jaw. I don't think that guy had any idea that the last 4 times, and I'm not exaggerating, that I punched somebody full power in the jaw, I broke their jaws. I mean, it's not hard. You punch somebody full power in the jaw, I mean, you break their jaw, you break their teeth off. And even though he was a soulless vampire, I did not want to hurt him. But he was assaulting me, and I just, within 1 millisecond of letting loose into his jaw. But I didn't. You could see it. Maybe we can slow it down in the video. But I was just ugh. And I tell you, then that would have turned them into martyrs, I guess. But thank God everybody controlled themselves. They assaulted us. They broke the microphone. He came back and hit me again and then ran off. But that time it wasn't that hard. He hit me and then grabbed the microphone. Like, pop, grabs the microphone. But again, it was the punch of about a 12-year-old. And I let my son hit me all the time. He likes to come in the kitchen, you know how 12-year-olds are, and he'll haul off and hit me in the arm or whatever. I don't hit him back. And that actually hit me this morning. It actually hurt pretty bad. So I'm sorry. My 12-year-old son punches harder than this guy. So it's a total joke. And I'm not bragging. I've had my butt kicked plenty of times, but you know, I go with these big guys and MMA guys, you know, the carnival, and they got those boxing deals, and I can knock it all the way to the top, and they can't. So the point is, I can punch pretty hard, not bragging. That guy came real close to getting his jaw broken, is all I'm saying. And I say I didn't want to do it. Let's just be honest. I kind of vacillate back and forth. Those people, I don't think have ever had their ass beat. And I think, me and Jakar were talking this morning, I think that was one of the major problems in their life, is that they just think they can go around bullying folks. And that's the larger message that I want to put across here, is that these are bullies that tried to block our signs. These are bullies that broke our microphone and cable twice. These are bullies that were pushing over women. And these are bullies that were saying they love Satan. We haven't played this yet. That they're feminists, that they're not communists, and I'm a liar, even though they lead a major communist group in Austin, according to them on their own Facebook. There's photos and video. Just everything they say is a lie and a distortion. And then mixed in is rise up with guns and go after the police with rotting pig heads like you'd see in some sci-fi dystopia movie, Road Warrior. I mean, except in a Road Warrior scenario, you wouldn't be living very long. It would be a bunch of veterans that were still alive. I mean, it is just absolute. I mean, can you imagine these wimps in a real Road Warrior situation? I mean, what a joke. What an absolute joke. I'd be alive in a Road Warrior situation, not because of my brawn, but because I would organize people into a defense group, into a true system of liberty working together. They'd try to have some collective and make everybody be under one communist leader, and they'd all starve to death like North Korea. And these people probably can't even wipe their own hind ends. But I'm digressing. You go to Infowars.com and see the American flags being burned, Infowars publications being burned. This is what they do. Little did I know that I'm downtown eating, and I see a fire down on Congress a few weeks ago, and it was them burning my magazine and burning American flags. So see, I mean, I ought to be honored that filth like this, pit of hell filth, hates me so much they're doing this. So this is what unfolded. And they're vehement totalitarians, and this is the mainstay at major universities where they're banning free speech. This is what's going on. And we're not on a power trip here when I explain that ISIS is mad at us and making threatening videos because we're hurting their recruiting that the West lets happen to then overthrow countries. Because young Muslims are listening and not joining. They're hopping mad that we're exposing militarization of police and the military training to take on Tea Party and gun owners, so they're misrepresenting what we say there. You notice now every day we're affecting national, international news because we have the truth. It's not that we're cool, it's that we understand the globalist paradigm. It's not hard once you think of the system from their perspective of how they're operating with full spectrum dominance. It's like when you're opening a safe, you hear it click, you know it, you pull the lever, boom, the door opens. We've opened the safe, we've cracked the code, and guess what? It wasn't hard. I've read over 100 books written by Henry Kissinger and David Rockefeller and Zbigniew Brzezinski and Carol Quigley, and it's all in there because their own minions have to know how to run this. They've got tens of thousands of high-level minions, 6,000 superclass, about 18 families that own the Anglo-American system. That nothing to do with white people. It's the name of the British East India, Dutch East India, Anglo-American Combine, Anglo-American Dutch Oil. it's a cartel, and they've got ways to take over countries. They send in operatives, they spy on the population, they then train people how to fight with each other, they hire community organizers. That's how they took over India. Less than 5,000 Brits using this were able to take over India when it had over 100 million people. Now it's 1 billion. I mean, we understand their operation. We're blowing their operation. We're going to continue to blow their operation. You understand that? We're the organic response. How dare them call us racist when we're there trying to stop 51% of black people who've been aborted since Roe v. Wade? They're the racist against the human race. They want you to think only about skin color instead of about how we're all being screwed over by foreign banks. I want to play this clip and then get Jakari Jackson and, of course, Anthony Gucciardi's take on all this. But first off, we are funded by you. Nowhere can you spend your money. I mean, I can say this with 100% certainty. Nowhere can you spend your money more supporting a media operation that is viciously honest, viciously truthful, viciously fearless, double tough, and committed 110%, foaming at the mouth, pro-human. Rabidly fighting. And then we're rabid because we know humanity's being torn to shreds, folks. We got to surge. We got to get angry. We got to take the enemy on in the info war and be aggressive and be leaders. And people are ready to listen. They're ready to wake up. They're ready. But you can't be milquetoast. You got to break people out of their trance. We have high-quality pro-gun T-shirts to wear your collars loud and proud and meet fellow info warriors. You want to meet like-minded folks? Wear an InfoWars shirt in public. We got long-sleeve shirt, sheave, Molon Labe, Made in America, you name it, InfoWarsStore.com. We've got high-quality water filtration systems that will cut out the glyphosates and other soft-kill weapons and the fluoride. We've got all the great products, shortwave radios, non-GMO seeds, cook stoves, high-quality storable foods, lowest prices, InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com, or 888-253-3139. And here's the most important point. 42 hours left. It ends Sunday evening. We will end it. Won't have another sale for probably 6 months on Super Male or Super Female Vitality. 20% off the highest quality herbs that simply go in and block what the globalists have been doing with their estrogen mimickers and all the rest of the crud. This is what you're supposed to feel like. You can go out and look at top sites, reviewing these and just saying they are the best out there. We've got 5-star ratings. Top tested, totally pure, over the top, passes California's highest standards. This is the Rolls Royce, because we know we're targets, but that's not really why. We would have already put out the best, because I treat people like I want to be treated. You got that? I treat people like I want to be treated, the golden rule, and this is the best. Plus, then, it is the best, so it becomes incredibly popular, and you keep buying it, funding the operation, win-win. InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. 42 hours left on that sale. There's some other sales. Check them all out at InfoWarsStore.com and support the InfoWar. God bless you all. All right, I'm ranting. Jakari Jackson, thank you for coming in with Anthony Gucciardi. Give me your take on this entire situation, what you witnessed. Have I exaggerated that these people looked like vampires?
No, that is by no means an exaggeration. You know, we got out there early in the day, and there's probably about 20 people. The crowd continued to grow as the day went on. And these communists who deny they are communists, even though we have them on their Facebook pages claiming that they're communists and doing communist activities, they come out there, they're intimidating the crowd. They start out shoving people in the crowd with the signs. Then they continue on to intimidate women and young children. They even came up to David Knight's young daughter and were, trying to beast over her. She's like, get out of my face.
And they also spit on her. And I'm sorry, if I'd have seen that, I would have gone ahead and hauled off. I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, I didn't know that till later. Yeah, because all that craziness happened. They tried to push Reefer Seed, who's a well-known Austin activist, out into the street. An older gentleman.
He's a sweet guy, but he has traumatic brain problem. He was hit by a car.
Yeah.
So he's an old cripple, man. They were beating him up.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. They're scum.
And that's what it came to, because after all this stuff happened, and they'd been trying to bully people all day, attacking old men, young ladies, older women. I said, I had enough of it. So I jumped in the guy's face, and I was like, you guys want to fight? You can come and fight me. And he didn't really want to do that. He was like, well, actually, this is a guy who can actually defend himself. Maybe I should just go snatch the microphone and run off like the little girl that he was.
Well, let's not be mean to little girls.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, David Knight's daughter stood up to him, so I guess
a 13-year-old girl stood up to him.
Yeah. And this is how these guys act. Then he runs around the corner, spikes the the microphone, trying to break it. He gets away. They captured 2 of them, I believe it was. The main guy got away, the vampire-looking guy. He